A point for North Star. It is a tie game.
Tie game.
Tie game. Tie game and empty penalty box.
Empty penalty box. Katarina hit on the line for North Star. That is Sharon Yeager, whom we saw earlier today jamming for Arizona. Again with that tough blocking situation. But Sharon Yeager finds the way through.
Once again, Katarina hit for North Star is going to be right behind Sharon Yeager. So both jammers, while held initially with those defensive shapes from both teams, are able to find room. Yeager looking for some help from their team to get some points before Katarina hit sneaks up behind. And Yeager will call the jam. Looks like
double donuts.
Both teams held scoreless in that jam. Our score will remain 1-1.
We got Axel up for Arizona, and that is some Sadie for North Star. Every once in a while I can read, and sometimes I can't.
It's the end of the tournament weekend. I don't even think I have eyeballs anymore. Yep. All right, both jammers pushing on those defensive shapes in the back. Axel and Sadie trying both the outside and inside lines, and so far no luck for jammers. We do see Axel moving towards the front. That is going to be lead jammer for Axel in Arizona Roller Derby. We will see Sadie remove the cap, and star pass is complete for North Star. That is going to be Jim Rat of North Star, pivot turn jammer. If you're joining us for the first time for Roller Derby, if a jammer decides they no longer want to be the jammer, they can remove that star cap off their head and pass it to the person who has the pivot, that stripe, and they become the jammer.
So North Star held scoreless. That jam 2 points went up for Arizona. And we've got Kiwi headed to the line for Arizona.
Up against Sailor Doom, I believe.
Yeah, that's Sailor Doom.
Yeah. A nice little fist bump between jammers before this jam
We love
starts.
to see it. Love to see some sportsmanship.
Great sportsmanship that we've seen all weekend from all teams. Just makes the tournament weekend more fun.
Sailor Doom to the outside. Oh, wow. Hard pushing. Good blocking there by the North Star contingent.
Very strong defensive moves from both teams, as we're seeing. We are 40 seconds into this jam. No lead yet declared. And as I say it, we will see Kiwi for Arizona as lead, but they are recycled back again. And we do actually have Sailor Doom out on their initial. Kiwi going to go ahead and call off that jam before Sailor Doom can come around for points. Once again, couple of donuts in the air.
Double donuts in the end. That's okay.
Yeah.
Still craving the donuts. That's okay.
Still time. Very low scoring game so far.
Thus far. We got Gail Satan rolling up to the line for Arizona, taking on Sasbury.
Very clean game so far. No one with a penalty.
I like clean games. They're nice.
Love a clean game.
I'd like to see good sportsmanship. It's awesome.
Yeah. All right, Satan and Sass fighting for purchase on the back. Both jammers trying the inside and outside lines with zero luck so far. They're pushing towards the front, having to work through a full complement of blockers as the penalty box is currently empty. We are going to see Gail Satan pushing towards the top with some offensive help. And with that, it is going to be Gail Satan for Arizona out for lead. I believe Arizona 100% lead so far in this game.
100% lead so far, and we've got a new jammer for North Star. That is Kilroy.
And rather than calling the jam, we are unfortunately going to see our first
That was not
penalty.
A call-off. That was a penalty.
Lots of whistles. So Gail Satan, unfortunately, taking a seat in the penalty box was a cut track assigned to Gail Satan.
And this is the first power jam of the game.
This does mean that this will be a 2-minute jam, as Gail did have lead and lost lead once they sat in the penalty box. Kilroy now has some time to push against the top of that pack. And does so.
Gotta say hi to Night Saver on the Twitch feed. How you doing?
Kilroy looking for some offensive help now, going against the full complement of Arizona blockers at the top. Gail Satan is released from the penalty box. Will go against all 4 North Star blockers, getting some offensive help up that inside, and does tiptoe through from that penalty box.
4 points for Gail Satan.
Couple North Star blockers testing the gravity on the inside. It's on and working.
It has been working all day.
All weekend.
Yep.
Gale through for another 4 points. Both teams scoring 8 points so far in this jam. We do have about 10 seconds left.
Gale Satan straight into the back of the pack. Looking for a last-minute couple points.
And with that, the jam will come to its natural conclusion.
12 points total for Kilroy.
Making it a 1-point game.
Yes, indeed, a 1-point game. I love these close games.
That's math I can do. 14 points on the board for Arizona Roller Derby, 13 for North Star Roller Derby. Penalty box still clear. We only have that one penalty so far with 7 minutes gone in this first half of the final game of the tournament.
On the line, we see Princess Leia versus Katarina Hit. Katarina Hit takes a big smack there from Ragin Bajin. But Katarina Hit takes lead jammer for the first North Star lead jam of the game.
Katarina Hit coming around for some points for their team. Hit to the inside. Quick reminder, if you are hit out, you must re-enter the track behind the person who hit you out of bounds. Hate that rule.
It can be frustrating.
Not my favorite. Forgot about it a couple times last game.
Yep, and then you get a womp-womp track cut.
All right, both jammers fighting. Beautiful defensive shapes that we're seeing from both teams in this game. Strong tripods with a utility player. We do see Princess Leia is going to be out. I believe that was their initial.
That was the initial.
Sick. And Katarina Hit said, I'm all done.
That's the call off from Katarina Hit. That brings us to a 3-point game, 17-14 in favor of North Star. That is our first lead change of the game. Slim Sadie wearing the star for North Star. That is Skaren Yeager jamming for Arizona. Skaren Yeager playing both for Arizona Rising and the Arizona A team. So Skaren's played about 6 games this weekend.
About 1,000 games this weekend.
A bajillion. Yeah. And if you break it down to how many jams in a rotation, oh my
Absolutely
goodness.
not. That's too much math.
That's some endurance.
We do see Yeager pushing against the top of that North Star pack with 2 to beat. That is going to be lead jammer for Yeager and Arizona Roller Derby. Slim Sadie with cap in hand looking for their pivot. I believe that is Baller, and a beautiful pass. Now making Baller pivot turn jammer, but before they can score any points, Arizona calls the jam.
My goodness, still a 1-point game, but it's gone the other direction.
1-point game.
As Axel takes the line for Arizona, I see
Sailor Doom.
Sailor Doom for North Star.
10 minutes gone in this first half.
That was quick, 10 minutes.
That was a fast 10 minutes. I'm sitting here and I'm exhausted. All right. Empty penalty box, which means both jammers must contend against all 4 blockers, and that is going to be Sailor Doom for North Star Roller Derby out as lead jammer. Axel removing the star from their head. Sailor Doom does come in for points for North Star. We will see Axel through on their initial pass. And Sailor Doom being told by their bench, call it if you want.
20 points up for North Star Roller Derby, 18 for Arizona. Sasberry on the line once more wearing the green star. That is Kiwi once again for Arizona.
Empty penalty box does mean once again both jammers are having to fight against all 4 blockers for each team. Kiwi absolutely trapped behind that tough North Star wall.
That wall is snug.
Number 40, Crust Almighty,
Kiwi
for
getting
North
a little
Star.
help
Doing
from
some
Mako.
excellent work on the inside. Now going to go and visit their jammer, get some offensive hits going to unlock their jammer, having Sass push towards the front of that pack. Locked down by Arizona. Mako, number 6-2 for Arizona, bringing Sass all the way back in time. Sass having to recycle all the way back to that jammer line where we started.
It's like you got to start all over again. And into the penalty box, a North Star blocker.
That is crust. It's okay, though. Your skates look really cool.
Yep, just get a breather.
Still no lead declared, and unfortunately Sass has removed the cap, so they are ineligible to be lead jammer. Kiwi pushing towards the top of that North Star pack.
And once again hitting the floor out in front. Oh my goodness, Arizona's jammer put out to the outside line just between turns 2 and 3.
Really stunning defensive and offensive work that we are seeing from both teams. We are 30 seconds left in this jam and no lead yet declared. Kiwi does remove the star. No jammer will be eligible for lead jammer once you take the star off. Kiwi is now out. However, on their initial pass.
On the initial pass, no eligible jammer, still no lead. 12 seconds left in the jam. Kiwi might be the only one eligible to score, but will Kiwi do it?
Kiwi currently being recycled back by Crust on that outside line. And that jam will come to its natural conclusion. A hard fight from both teams. 2 points will go on the board for Arizona Roller Derby for their troubles, making this a tie game.
Tie game.
Tie game. Incredible work by both teams on that last jam. Well done.
The blocker lines on both teams just really impressive.
Oh my gosh, just locked down. Absolutely no space given to these jammers.
Sit on that jammer. That's Gail Satan jamming against Katarina Hit. And Katarina Hit almost through, has to cycle back to the back of the pack, and Gail Satan takes lead jammer for Arizona.
Gail Satan also skated in several games this weekend.
Another that skates for both A and B teams.
And dances through for 4 points. We will see a star pass to Baller of North Star, now becoming jammer of record and chasing down Gail Satan, putting on that speed. Gail coming around looking for some points, for some offensive help, and is going to call the jam. We will see 1 extra point added to Arizona. North Star held scoreless. 25 Arizona, 20 North Star.
Very nice.
16 minutes left in this period.
And still just 2 penalties on the board, 1 per team.
This might be the cleanest game we've seen all weekend, which is ironic because it was also the last game.
Knock on wood, though.
I don't have any wood around me. I gotta get up.
Beat on
knock
my
on
head.
my skull. There we go. All right, we do have Princess Leia out for Arizona Roller Derby going up against Slim Sadie for North Star. But it will be Princess Leia out for lead for Arizona. And it will be a power jam as we do see Slim Sadie headed to the penalty box.
That's the first power jam of the game with Princess Leia wearing the star, locking Slim Sadie in the box. 3 points up for Arizona in the meantime.
Slim Sadie, as a jammer, sent to the penalty box on a multiplayer.
On a multiplayer? That's not common.
That is not a common jammer penalty. As jammers, we love to get cuts, we love to get back blocks, we love to get forearms. Multiplayer is not a common penalty for jammers.
For a jammer. Well, at least... I don't know where I was going with that one. At least we've got Scaring Jaeger on the line with the power start.
Power start for Arizona. We will see both pivots in the penalty box starting for this next jam.
Arizona held scoreless on that pass. 4 points went up for North Star Roller Derby. It may feel like we're talking over each other once at a time, but I cannot hear her very well.
Who are you?
For real, I can't hear you very well.
I can't hear you at all.
There you go. See, we got to talk to each other.
We're doing great. I just can't turn to see you because my foot's in the air.
That's okay. You keep that foot rested.
Yes, ma'am.
Lead jammer goes to Arizona's Axel. Dramatic pause. Sailor Doom jamming for North Star. 4 points up for Axel.
Sailor Doom still trapped in the back on that initial pass for North Star Roller Derby as Axel comes in for more points for Arizona. We do hear a whistle, which means someone gets to go sit down, and it will be Axel of Arizona Roller Derby going to take a seat in that penalty box on a back block.
That was a back block.
Sailor Doom out on the initial for North Star, not lead jammer. This will be a 2-minute jam. We've got 1 minute 14 seconds left.
Sailor Doom signaling to the pack what wants to be done. There is a slight blocker advantage as one Arizona blocker's in the box, so maybe that will help Sailor Doom out a little bit. Sailor Doom's pivot, number 44, helping her out quite a lot. That's Jim Rat.
Sailor Doom being told by their pod, push, 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 as they are eagerly awaiting Arizona's jammer to return from the penalty box. North Star holding Axel in the back of that pack.
And this is going to go the 2 whole minutes, and they're going to fight hard this 2 whole minutes. Both jammers still fighting hard in this last 20 seconds of the jam. Ouch!
Hard
Sailor
hit
Doom
to the
goes
inside.
Down. Was that Ragin' Bajin that hit Sailor Doom? I think it was. That's what I'm going with. Daryl B. Blood taking a seat in the penalty box for North Star. 3 points go up. 4 points for North Star, 3 points for Arizona. Wow.
That was a busy jam. My goodness. 35 for Arizona, 28 for North Star. We do see Sasbury on the line for North Star going up against Kiwi for Arizona. Currently 1 North Star blocker in the penalty box. And actually, before that jam starts, we are going to do an official timeout. Quick reminder, each team is assigned 3 timeouts and 1 official review per half. Officials can have as many timeouts as they want.
And their timeouts can go as long as they need to, whereas team timeouts are only a minute long.
True. Nice thing about official timeouts is it does allow both teams to kind of regroup, rehydrate, chat,
breathe.
Yeah, hug each other, which
Yes.
looks like Arizona's doing. How cute.
Yes. Spread the love.
Oh.
Sportsmanship, we love to see it.
Yeah. Figure out what time their flight leaves.
That's another one, yeah. Are we going to make our plane? That's the thing about tournament Sundays is, you know, are you playing hard enough to make your plane? Did you plan ahead if you win?
Exactly. Last game against Red Stick, we had some friends who had to jet off right away. Sorry, friends. All right. That whistle does mean the official timeout has come to an end.
Kiwi takes a jump for Ragin' Bajin's hips, tries to use it for an O. But Sasbury is the one that comes out in front. The jammer.
Kiwi fighting on their initial 2 blockers to beat at the top as Sasbury enters for scoring pass, and that will free Kiwi on their initial pass. Sass working towards the back of the pack to get some points for North Star Roller Derby. We do still have that North Star blocker in the penalty box. And Sass being told to call it from their bench, holding Arizona scoreless.
For one more jam.
2 more on the board for North Star.
At the jam line, we see Gail Satan taking on Katarina Hit. We've seen this pairing one time before. I know who came out on top. Do you?
No.
Okay, I'm not going to tell because I don't want to jinx it. Katarina Hit finds a line and off we go.
Good thing he didn't say anything. All right, Gale does have cap in hand. Looking for some offensive help from their friends. It is going to be Katarina hit through for 4 for North Star Roller Derby, bringing this to a 1-point game.
Whistles raining down. Gale Satan headed to the penalty box. Forearm call.
Power jam for North Star. Katarina looking to do some more damage on the scoreboard with some offensive help from their friends. Beautiful inside lane opened up by North Star skaters. Katarina hit through for 4.
That was a lot of daylight that got opened up there.
Katarina working on 4 more for North Star.
Black Mamba working around trying to brace. Vampira pushing Katarina hit out. Gale Satan has rejoined the fray. Two by Force headed to the penalty box.
And another whistle. We will see another Arizona blocker headed to that penalty box.
Vampira makes it 2. And Katarina hit through the pack. 4 more points. That's 12 points on the jam for Katarina hit. Here we go.
There it is. We will have 1 Arizona skater sitting for 2. For whatever reason, refs can assign 2 penalties to a skater if they don't leave the track on time. If they have a little bit to say before leaving the track, if they leave the track incorrectly, you can be assigned a second penalty. So that Arizona skater, number 09, will be sitting for a full minute.
Ouch. 4 more points up for Katarina hit. Brings the grand total to 46 for North Star. Arizona held scoreless at 35.
Was that our biggest jam of the game so far?
So far.
Well done, North Star. Biggest jam of the game so far with 7 minutes and 22 seconds left in this first half.
Gale Satan starting off in the box. So we've got Slim Sadie with a power jam.
Power start leading to power jam for Slim Sadie North Star Roller Derby. 1 Arizona blocker is released from the penalty box as Sadie comes in for points for North Star, looking for some offensive help from her friends. Dances through that outside line for 4 as Gale Satan is released from the penalty box, coming in for their initial pass. And a beautiful spin move from Gale Satan.
Lovely. That was graceful. I just noticed they have 2 different color toe stops. Gale Satan.
Oh.
Interestingly enough, I don't know why, but you know, it happens.
I was not looking at their toe stops, to be honest.
I was watching her feet.
All right, that whistle does mean we will have another timeout. Looks like that's going to be a team timeout on the half of Arizona Roller Derby. Smart, because those team timeouts and official reviews do not roll over to the next half, so you may as well use them. Taking a look at penalties, still a relatively clean game. We do have 1 player that has 3 penalties, and that is so far the highest thus far. No one in any danger, everything going well. You should hope that toward the mid end of the first half, you're not have anybody trying to foul out on us, especially with a game like this. Yes, very low scoring game, still a very tight game.
Very tight game. Good blocking happening on both sides.
Beautiful offensive and defensive moves from both teams today. Looks like North Star does still have their merch table set up in the back, so if you are in dire need of a t-shirt or a sweatshirt from North Star, rep your favorite team, go ahead and go back and check out their merch table. Thank you to all teams who brought merch out and for letting me spend my money at your booth.
Yes, we appreciate that very much.
My wallet didn't, but that's all right.
You know, I didn't have extra to spend this tournament, so my wallet was okay with me because it was already mad. But I typically will collect shirts for every team I announce for.
Okay.
So
Nice.
I will need to pick up a North Star Roller Derby shirt at another point.
We will see Sailor Doom for North Star taking on Princess Leia for Arizona Roller Derby. Clear penalty box means all 4 blockers to contend with for both of these jammers. Sailor Doom dancing on the outside will be lead jammer for North Star Roller Derby. Princess Leia, though, seeing daylight in the middle of the pack and is out on their initial as well, coming in for points. Sailor Doom knocked to the outside, being told to call the jam. I believe we actually will see 1 point scored by North Star, 0 for Arizona.
That was a quick jam.
That was fast.
Now let's take 30 seconds, take a breather, and get back in there, huh? Sasbury taking the star for North Star. We've got Scaren Yeager jamming for Arizona. Scaren Yeager, I imagine, is going to be one to watch for the next couple of years for their career.
Yeah.
Because if their endurance is this good now, imagine how much it can improve.
True. I think everyone's endurance has been great this weekend.
Whistles blow, and Arizona's Sunny Ono taking a seat in the penalty box. Lead jammer has been declared, and it is Sasbury. That's 5 in a row for North Star Roller Derby.
Sass coming in for points for North Star. And that will have Yeager freed up. Yeager clear on their initial. Sass 3 for 4 and is going to call the jam, holding Arizona scoreless. North Star now sitting at 57, Arizona 35, 4 minutes, 44 seconds left in this half.
Katarina hit jamming for North Star up against Axel. Axel, not one we've seen too many times, but not regular in the rotation, kind of sporadic.
Yeah.
Or kind of a mix it up kind of jammer.
Sometimes teams will try and match jammers. They see a jammer in the hot tub across the way and they say, ooh, my jammer's going to do great against this. Sometimes you'll see some jammer matching.
Or line it, or your lineup, your entire lineup. This jammer works well with these blockers. And there we have it. Axel is lead jammer, thus ending the dry spell for Arizona.
We do see Baller now taking the start and becoming jammer of record for North Star. Coming in for some points for North Star. Let's see if she managed to get any before that call. Baller does sneak 1 point on that jam. 3 on the board for Arizona, 1 for North Star Roller Derby, bringing the score up to 58 for North Star, 38 for Arizona.
Slim Sadie taking a star for North Star, taking on Kiwi. You see the differences in the blocker lines and how the pod is setting up at the line.
Yes. Quick check to see if that gravity still works on the outside line. It is still on.
It is. Gravity is still working. That'd be something I'd pay to see roller derby in space.
Oh my God. My fear of flying could never. That is going to be Slim Sadie out for lead for North Star Roller Derby, being told to run it by their bench. Ragin now, pivot turn jammer for Arizona. Affixing the star, making sure that their points count.
Yes. No points for Arizona on that pass. I see waiting for green. No points for North Star on that one. Double donuts. Gail Satan taking on Sailor Doom. We've got Satan versus 666.
Ooh, I like it.
That's thematic.
Empty penalty box for this jam. Satan and Doom pushing against those defensive shapes in the back of that pack. A slow moving scrum.
It is just a slog up in there until Gail Satan finds daylight and is declared lead. Well, she's declared lead jammer, but re-swallowed because the recycling.
Still pushing hard. One to beat now is out on their initial. We do see Sailor Doom re-entering and having to go behind the entire Arizona tripod, looking for some offensive help. We will see.
Oh, someone's going to the penalty box. I mean, we've already seen a North Star blocker go to the penalty box. Gail Satan puts up 4 points. Another North Star blocker, the pivot, headed to the penalty box as well.
Pivot, not who you want to see go to the box when your jammer could use a little bit of help. Gail Satan through for 4 more for Arizona.
I believe that is Jim Rat, the pivot for North Star.
I believe, so.
Gail Satan straight through.
Remember, if you are a blocker in the penalty box, your point does still count.
Yep.
So as the jammer passes you, they will get your penalty box point. Hop, skip, and a jump on that outside line means 4 more points on the board for Gail Satan and Arizona Roller Derby. Bring that total up to 16.
16 for Gail Satan.
Hard defensive shape at the top for North Star. We will hear a whistle, though, which means that someone will have to go to the penalty box. It will be a North Star blocker.
And Gail Satan still looking for daylight. Gail Satan finding Jim Rat instead. 4 points for Gail Satan, 4 points for Gail Satan. That's a 20-point jam for Gail Satan.
And a star pass to Jim Rat. Pivot turn jammer now for North Star Roller Derby, coming around to try and score some points for North Star.
Gail Satan with the call off, 3 points. Further for Gail Satan, that is a 23-point jam.
Lead change.
Lead change.
Biggest jam of the game so far?
Biggest jam of this game so far. 1 point off of biggest jam of the tournament.
Well, you'll do better next time.
We'll do better next time.
That does bring us to halftime, folks. We're going to take a 10-minute halftime. Both teams are going to regroup, rest, rehydrate, and we will see you back here in 9 minutes, 36 seconds.
Woo!
Falling off. Oh, nuts.
Oh, no. For those listening at home, she said my ice is falling off.
Yeah, my ice fell off my foot.
Yes.
And we're back. It's okay.
Okay. Waiting for the rolling whistle from Mortricia, our jam timer.
Of this? Thank you. Dad!
That was cold.
Lance, you stole my cookie.
He swiped it.
I know that.
Scary Jaeger against Katarina hit on the line. We've got cookie theft happening here at the back of the track. And cookie delivery. Very nice. Scary Jaeger at the head of the pack, pushing against blockers. Recycling to the rear. Forearm call on Scaren Jaeger leaves Katarina hit with a power jam and lead jammer.
Katarina hit. First power jam of the half.
We didn't have too many power jams the last half to begin with.
They said, I'd love some more, please.
Yes, let's see this. But see, then we have more penalties to go with it, and that's not so great.
There we go. A beautiful offensive sweep from North Star blockers meant an easy 4 points for Katarina hit and North Star Roller Derby.
That was textbook.
That was beautiful.
That's what they train for, you know?
I've heard that, yeah. All right. Katarina hit coming in for 4 more. Jaeger is released from the box. Looking for a fight to finish their initial pass so they can start scoring some points for Arizona.
North Star not making it easy at all. Katarina hit at the front, completely stopped Rage Invasion on the brace. Katarina hit makes it through just barely on the outside line. Squeaks on through. But now Arizona can do some offensive work and try to get Jaeger through. Direction of gameplay being assessed on Rage Invasion. Katarina hit through on the outside line. 4 more points for Katarina hit.
Scaren Jaeger with cap in hand. Unfortunately, their pivot is in the penalty box. No one else to pass to. Scaren Jaeger, though, does find some room on the outside line. Is out on their initial. Before they can score any points for Arizona, North Star's going to go ahead and call that jam.
My goodness. That was a 16-point jam.
Wow. Bringing our score total to 74 for North Star, 61 for Arizona.
Represents a lead change as well.
True.
Lead change, first lead change of the half. Slim Sadie on the line for North Star. Looking for a black jammer, but they're behind Slim Sadie. It's Princess Leia. I do so love it as an announcer when they set up right in front of each other and you can't see the other person.
Just makes it so much more exciting for us.
Yes. It's a surprise.
We will see a North Star blocker headed to the penalty box. No lead yet declared in this jam. Slim Sadie and Princess Leia both pushing hard against those respective tripods. Another North Star blocker headed to the penalty box means that Princess Leia does see room on the inside. Becomes lead jammer for Arizona.
Both those North Star blockers went on forearm calls. That is actually what I'm seeing the most of on the board. 4 points go up for Princess Leia.
1-4, yeah. Ooh, quick tumble to the outside. Baller has become the jammer of record for North Star roller derby pivot turn jammer after a star pass successfully completed. Princess Leia pushing through the back of that pack, being held by North Star's defensive shape. Hit to the outside. We'll have to recycle back behind number 314 for North Star. That is Rhubarb. Great name.
I love it.
Good job, Rhubarb.
2 points go up for Arizona on that pass. North Star held scoreless.
All right. Axel taking on Sailor Doom with an empty penalty box. Yay!
We love to see it.
We do love to see it.
Love to see it.
All right, Axel trying that outside, now being followed by Sailor Doom. A couple people checking to make sure gravity still works, and we will have Sailor Doom out for lead jammer for North Star. Axel, one left to beat at the top. That is Slasha for North Star. We are going to have Axel out on their initial as well. Sailor Doom coming around for points for North Star. Ducking throw on that outside is going to emphatically call off the jam before Axel and Arizona can score any points. 2 donuts in the sky, no points scored on that jam.
But a valiant effort.
Oh, yeah. Looked great doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
The pictures are going to be stellar.
Oh, the pictures from this weekend are going to be stunning.
Stellar.
Can't wait.
We got Kiwi on the line for Arizona. That is Sasberry jamming for North Star. Sorry, it's been a long tournament. My brain is slightly mush.
Sass with 3 to beat up at that top shape from Arizona, pushing through. We do have a North Star blocker headed to the penalty box. It will be Sasberry out as lead for North Star roller derby as we see Arizona's pivot head to the penalty box. Kiwi quickly out on their initial cap back on their heads as Sass comes around for points. Gonna hit to the outside and call the jam. Let's see. I do believe Kiwi scored some points on that. 2 in the air for Arizona. Also 2 for North Star. So North Star now sitting at 76. Arizona sitting at 69. Nice.
Gail Satan taking the star for Arizona. That's Katarina Hit jamming for North Star.
And a beautiful cut to the inside by Katarina Hit will make them lead jammer for North Star, but not far behind is Gail Satan for Arizona, putting on the speed, trying to catch Katarina Hit and keep this a low-scoring jam. Katarina's going to hit the back of the pack, calling off the jam. Was it done in time?
2 points for green, no points for black, so that was successful.
1 point.
1 point?
2 points. Miller,
2
pick
points
a number.
all.
Miller, pick a number, babe. There we go. 2 points for both teams scored.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. We do have a blocker apiece standing in the penalty box.
Scary Yeager on the line for Arizona up against Slim Sadie. Lumberjill rejoining the fray. No Nice hallway opened up for Slim Sadie and taken advantage of. We've got a jammer foot race, and it's a call off.
And I believe Arizona's jammer being sent to the box on a track cut penalty.
Whoa.
A bit of a late penalty call there.
Bit of a late penalty call, and that's going to give Sailor Doom the power jam. Gives a full 30 seconds right at the beginning of a jam.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good opportunity.
North Star with all 4 blockers on the track, being able to do a lot of offensive help for Sailor Doom. And Sailor Doom is out as lead jammer for North Star Roller Derby, being told by their bench to go ahead and run it. You got time.
Woo! That's 5 in a row for North Star.
It is. Nice slide to the outside, met by some Arizona defense, is going to be held. But another tiptoe means 4 on the board for Sailor Doom. We are going to see a blocker for Arizona. Go ahead and take a seat in the penalty box.
I believe that is flipper off. We've got Sailor Jam still pushing hard at the front of the pack up against, I believe that is, oh no, recycling back behind the tripod. Direction call being assessed on Black Mamba. Sailor Doom pushing and makes it through. 4 more points for Sailor Doom. That's the initial for Scaren Jaeger.
Sailor checking in with their bench. They're saying, give it a second. Wait for it. And go ahead and call it off.
Yeah. Timing is everything.
Timing is everything.
Now
Make
let's
sure
see the hands.
okay.
Oh.
All right. Quick shout out, thank you to our medics for keeping us all safe. Timing is very important when you are thinking about calling a jam.
Absolutely. You know, it makes the difference between 3 points and none points. And pushing through the 4 whistles is also important because it can make the difference between picking up 1 point more and being stuck with whatever you had.
Exactly. Coaches will like to have jammers wait to call off to see if they can get someone out of the penalty box.
Yes.
A lot of different reasons for it. Currently, we will see Arizona's pivot taking a seat in the penalty box. Sasbury on the line for North Star, taking on Axel for Arizona. North Star will start with a slight pack advantage.
Slight pack advantage. Okay. Waiting to see what the official is. We're still seeing the official timeout from Mortricia. Flipper off with... Oh, Flipper off is on the bench. That's fine. I was going to say flipper off. It doesn't matter.
Still a couple of skaters for both teams sitting at 3 penalties apiece. No one else in any real penalty trouble. All right. Axel and Sass both pushing up that outside line. And it will be, unfortunately, a track penalty for Axel of Arizona, leaving it open for Sass to become lead jammer for North Star Roller Derby. Power jam in favor of North Star.
Yep. And thus ends the blocker advantage to North Star as Black Mamba rejoins the pack.
Beautiful little apex skip on the inside by Sass, picking up all 4. Hard hit to the back, being now held by Arizona's full complement of blockers. Sass pushing on that 4 wall. 1 more to beat, 2 more to beat at the very top, dancing around from the outside to the inside is going to be Sass through, excuse me, for another 4 points for North Star.
Guillotina headed to the box. Did not see the tan sign. Axel clear on the initial.
And Sass calling off the jam, hoping to hold Arizona scoreless in that last jam. Let's see if they were successful. Looks like it is a donut in the sky. 2 more on the board for North Star.
Brings us to 71-99 in favor of North Star Roller Derby. North Star Roller Derby not seeing the huge jams, but a little bit at a time, and that's how they're kind of pulling away
They're chipping
slowly.
away at it, and that's
Yes.
when you've got teams who are playing so smartly defensively, chipping away is all you can ask sometimes.
Yep, and they're playing very smart.
Daylight found by Princess Leia of Arizona on that inside line, becoming lead jammer for Arizona.
Good job to Arizona's blockers, keeping Katarina hit in check. But there has been a completed star pass. We now see Kilroy jamming for North Star. 4 points for Arizona and the call off.
.75 now is the score for Arizona Roller Derby. North Star held at 99, so close to that century mark.
Ooh.
It's all right, friends, you got time.
Slim Sadie on the line for North Star. We've got Kiwi jamming for Arizona.
Kiwi and Slim both testing that inside, seeing if there's any space to get through, but both running into those defensive shapes. Sadie dancing back and forth between outside and inside. Kiwi trying their luck on the outside line, meeting a North Star defensive block.
That's some crazy skilled blocking there by 2x4s for Arizona. That positional, she just is not moving off of her.
Tracking that jammer across those lanes.
Yep.
Leaving no daylight. Both jammers both experiencing a quick lockdown from these defensive shapes. Kiwi pushing towards the top of that pack against all three. Getting some offensive help rather from Mako from Arizona.
Kiwi getting slammed into by Mako, but Kiwi found daylight. Kiwi is lead jammer. And a penalty being assessed on Kiwi. Excuse me, Slim Sadie lead jammer, Kiwi taking a seat.
Power jam for North Star. Slim Sadie being hit to the outside is going to have to be recycled back. Is meeting a tough defensive shape from Arizona.
Pulling back behind Phoenix.
And Slim Sadie going to go ahead and call off the jam, icing Arizona's jammer in the penalty box, which means this will be a power start for North Star. 2 points does bring North Star across that century mark, leaving their score as 101. Arizona Roller Derby 75. Looks like we're going to put out Sailor Doom for North Star for this power start.
Wow. We're just looking at who's got what. And they're off to the races. Sailor Doom running straight into the back of Flipper off. Flipper off, racing Sunny Ono. Flipper off going 1-to-1 with Sailor Doom. Sailor Doom twirling around and kicking lead jammer just as Kiwi rejoins the pack.
Kiwi with some beautiful moves, dodging those last two blockers from North Star. Will be out on her initial pass. Sailor Doom saying, I'm all done. I'm going to go ahead and call it off.
As 3 points up for Sailor Doom, bringing the total to 104. Arizona once again held scoreless at 75.
15 minutes and 35 seconds left in this last half of the last game of the last day of Have a Nice Day tournament put on by Minnesota Roller Derby.
I think this is one of the ultimate performances.
Oh, I would say so.
Ultimate being last as well.
So.
Gail Satan on the line against Sasbury.
Both jammers pushing against defensive shapes. Sass being knocked to the outside, has to recycle back. Gail Satan being hit to the inside, but the blocker who hit Gail out did also go out as well. So Gail re-enters and is lead jammer for Arizona. We do see a North Star blocker headed to the penalty box. Sass now out on her initial as well, putting on the speed, coming around to score some points for North Star. Gail's going to try their hand at some points. And is being told to call the jam by their bench, is going to hold North Star scoreless in this jam.
3 points went up for Gail Satan. 3 points. There's a thumb there. 3 points went up for Gail Satan. North Star held scoreless, as you said. 104-78 the total. Still anybody's game.
Very close game. Fairly low
scoring game.
Yeah. We've seen quite a few of those this weekend.
We have some. We've seen some defense work that is
Yes.
just world class.
Not a lot of runaway games this weekend, so high quality, entertaining derby. And with a sneak up the outside is Scaren Yeager for Arizona, lead jammer. And a quick star pass to Jim Rat of North Star, making them the jammer of record. And a tiptoe up the inside line by Scaren Yeager. All 4 points for Arizona is going to go ahead and call the jam.
That was some good strategery on Arizona's part to hold North Star scoreless at 104. Brought their total up to 82.
Beautiful work done by both teams.
Good strategy.
Yeah. It's like they practice or something.
Well, I'm going to say this kind of on the mic because sometimes you see teams that you're like, I can't figure out what their strategy is, what they're doing. But some teams are just brute forcing it, and it works for them. Arizona's using that strategy to their advantage.
Princess Leia for Arizona going up against Slim Sadie for North Star. Slim Sadie dancing up the inside but does get knocked down, have to recycle. Mako for Arizona going to head to the penalty box. Princess Leia pushing up against that North Star tripod in the front. Slim Sadie looking for some offensive help from their friend in the back. But it will be
Princess Leia
out for lead.
Allow me to fill in your sentence.
Thank you. And a call off by Princess Leia as Slim Sadie was directly behind, holding them scoreless. Donuts are great because you've got a pair of them.
Yep. I say Sailor Doom wearing the star for North Star Roller Derby. Axel jamming for Arizona.
We will see Sailor Doom pushing towards the outside as Axel contending with all 4 North Star blockers.
Flipper
Sailor
off.
Doom quick cutting to the inside.
North Star taking lead jammer. Sailor Doom putting on some speed to come into the back of the pack.
And I believe we did see an attempted star pass on the part of Arizona.
Was not successful. Was successful.
Was not successful.
Was not successful? Oh, dear. Now she's got to hand it back.
Yep.
And they can keep you from handing it back and then handing it back again.
So now Axel does have the star again. Is through on their initial. And Sailor Doom is going to go ahead and call off. So with a star pass, both skaters have to be upright in bounds. You cannot pass it illegally. You cannot zoot it over the heads of other skaters to your pivot. Tried that once. You can't do it.
You can't do that.
And if the star pass is not completed legally, you got to give it back. Pivot has to return the cap to the jammer. Try it all over again.
If you're lucky enough to not be blocked halfway in between. Here,
True.
let me get between you and the previous jammer.
Help.
And not hand it back.
Help.
Yes, help.
But we will see Kiwi on the line for Arizona going up against Sasberry. Sass tiptoeing up that inside line and does get lead jammer for North Star. Kiwi twirling in the back of that pack looking for some sunshine as they can get out on their initial as well. And Kiwi does get through on their initial pass, is going to come around for some points. Sass finding daylight on the inside is told by their bench, go ahead and call it off. Your blocker is free from the box. All is well.
Smartly done. What we're seeing in contrast to the first one is we're seeing a lot of quicker jams, lower scoring jams. They're going by more quickly, so we're stacking them up. But there's that chip away at that, either chipping away at the lead gap or chipping away and making more of a lead for North Star.
Yep. Bit by bit, every point counts.
It is a battle in the more sense of the term than just one. That's Gail Satan jamming for Arizona up against Katarina Hit. We've got a big old pile up there in turn one. Whistles blowing. Someone's going to the box. That is Guillotina.
Another whistle means someone else will be joining that blocker in the box, but Gail Satan does tiptoe through on the inside and does become lead jammer for Arizona Roller Derby. A star pass to Baller of North Star, making them the jammer of record. Both jammers coming around for points. Gail tiptoeing from inside to outside is going to dip around and call the jam, holding North Star scoreless. And 3 points go up for Arizona. We do have a blocker apiece sat in our penalty box. Once again, though, no one in serious trouble.
No one in serious trouble. They're all playing nice.
Yeah, everyone's playing
as nice as you can.
For roller derby, yeah, it's hard to do so.
Yeah, whatever that means during roller derby.
Yeah, most people have is 3. Not too bad. Slim Sadie going up against Scaren Yeager for Arizona. Slim dancing to the inside. Yeager trying the outside. Yeager does find success on that outside line. Is going to be lead jammer for Arizona Roller Derby. Slim Sadie hit to the inside, having to recycle back. We will see number 6 Mako for Arizona being sent to that penalty box. Slim Sadie out on the initial.
Looking for points. The pack speeds up. North Star's blocker speeding up the pack, attempting to keep Yeager from scoring points before their jammer can get to the back of the pack. It kind of works. It's a double-edged sword.
We do have a tumble to the outside.
Scaren Yeager stays in. Wait, Scaren Yeager's out of bounds. That's a track cut. Oh, no, not a track cut. Whistle blows. 4 points both. Cut. She was as confused as I was.
I mean, it's a confusing time. Ref says cut. You try to go to the box. They say, just kidding, come back. So, call rescinded. Yeager is still lead jammer as that call was taken back. Slim Sadie tiptoeing on that outside line is going to change her mind and go ahead and recycle back just to be safe. Scaren Yeager trying to find some light on the inside is going to recycle back as well by Kilroy of North Star. 48 seconds left in this jam. Scaren Yeager trying for some more points for their team. Slim Sadie working on points of their own at the top of this pack.
Between Flipper-Off, Mako, and Phoenix, Slim Sadie having all the trouble.
Very, very physical jam.
And we see 7 points for both teams. I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tie jam. Bringing Arizona's score up to 92. North Star at 118, 6 minutes and 46 seconds left in this half.
Princess Leia wearing the star for Arizona. We've got Sailor June wearing the star for North Star. Yeah.
All right, we will see someone sent to that penalty box because I heard that whistle. It is unfortunately going to be Sailor Doom on a forearm, which will leave lead open for Princess Leia to take for Arizona Roller Derby. Princess Leia putting on the speed, coming around for points for Arizona.
Arizona's blocker line lining up. Classic again, very textbook. Line up and then swallow the other blocker line to make it open it up for your jammer. Didn't quite work out as well as they wanted it to that time.
Hard hit to the outside by Crust Almighty of North Star Roller Derby. Longtime veteran blocker. Still, once again, making trouble for Princess Leia at the top of this pack, blocking her way.
Sunny Ono trying to work some offensive magic there for Princess Leia.
Wonderful moves by Crust and North Star blockers as they are just shutting Leia down. Meanwhile, Doom has re-entered. And jam will be called. I believe someone will still be visiting the penalty box. I heard a whistle.
3 points up for Arizona Roller Derby. North Star held scoreless.
And it will be North Star's pivot, Jim Rat, taking a seat in that penalty box. So, slight pack advantage for Arizona with 5 minutes left in the half.
Axel on the line up against Sasbury.
Matchup we've seen before.
I do my gossip hands with it, so let's see what happens. Sasbury runs straight into the back of Phoenix and Black Mamba. Braced there by Chew by Force. Axel right behind Karen. Hobson stays inbounds. Whistle's blowing, and Axel takes lead jammer.
Tiptoeing around those North Star blockers on the outside.
It was almost like she hopped around someone's hips.
Beautiful work.
It was great work. I envy that skill.
And another tiptoe move by Axel. 4 on the board for Arizona. We will see Sass pushing against Arizona's tripod with some offensive help attempting. As Axel hits that North Star tripod in the back. Sass pushing against a hard Arizona tripod.
Sass has pushed them 3/4 of the track.
Yeah. That's a workout. That is a tough tripod to move.
Oh my goodness. Mako doing the bridge work there with Karen, keeping the pack air quotes together but spread out.
Tough moves put on by both pods.
We are,
this jam.
Arizona has now been pushed over the century mark, 101.
Yay, welcome.
To 118. We've still got a 17-point game. That's
close.
That's close.
That is
I
very
love
close.
it.
3 minutes and 38 seconds left. Still anybody's game. That is plenty of time to get some work done.
Yep. This is the part where you're talking to your bench going, don't give up yet.
Right.
Don't give out.
They've got tricks in their pockets. They've got it.
Yep. Katarina hit jamming for North Star. We've got Kiwi jamming for Arizona.
We do see Katarina hit with a slick move to the outside, making them lead jammer for North Star roller derby. Kiwi fighting against that defensive shape of North Star in the front. A little bit of offensive help from their pivot as Katarina hit re-enters on a scoring pass for North Star, having to recycle back.
Big hit there by Kilroy on Kiwi. Gonna draw Kiwi back to the rear of the pack.
We do see Kiwi remove that cap. And Katarina tiptoe through on that inside line. Looking for a little bit of jersey help. Does get through all 4 points for North Star roller derby. Star has been passed to Sunny Ono of Arizona, now having to work. And an apex jump by Katarina hit for 4 for North Star. Beautiful jump from North Star's jammer. And Katarina hit after that jump. Can't top it. Gonna go ahead and call it off. That looks to be 10 on the board for North Star, bringing their score total up to 128. Arizona roller derby held scoreless. Their score will stay at 101.
Oof.
1 minute, 57 seconds left in this game.
Oof, with Sailor Doom on the line for North Star, taking on Gail Satan for Arizona. I'm interested to see what this next 2 minutes has to offer. This has been a very fun game to call. Whistles blowing. Someone's going to the box.
Several people, it
That's
sounds like, are going to the
Mako
box.
headed to the penalty box. Sailor Doom into turn 1, pushing hard. Sailor Doom finds the way out and is lead jammer.
And a power jam as Gail Skaten goes to the
penalty box.
On a multiplayer.
On
Another multiplayer
weird
penalty for a jammer. Seems odd.
Seems strange.
All right. Sailor Doom.
This is one of those times where I'm glad I'm not a ref because I didn't want to make the.
I'm glad 100% of the time I'm not a ref.
I'm not going to pretend about that.
Seems tough. The counting is weird. I don't like it.
Yep.
Sailor Doom pushed to the inside. Gonna have to recycle all the way back. Arizona blocker released from the penalty box. Sailor Doom tiptoeing and does find space. All 4 points on the board for Sailor Doom and North Star roller derby, bringing their score up to 132. 33 seconds left on the period clock. Gail Satan released from the box, tiptoeing through. Looking to complete the initial pass, I believe.
This is the initial pass for Gail Satan.
Good. Gail Satan busting through the middle of that pack like butter. Yep. 4 points on the board for Arizona roller derby.
Sailor Doom trying to do the same, not quite working out the same. I see Black Mamba flip her off. I'm sorry, that's not flip her off. That's 2 by force.
And that will bring us to the end of this game. We currently have an unofficial score of 106 Arizona, 134 North Star. And with that rolling whistle, that does bring our final game of the tournament to an end. 106 Arizona, 134 North Star Roller Derby.
Well played, all teams. Thank you for coming out. Thank you to all of our refs, our non-skating officials, volunteers.